going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and today we're going to be talking about the breaking news in regards to David Vonderhaar leaving Treyarch and Activision. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, drop a like, and also as a reminder, we got plenty of brand new articles going up over on dkdynamite.com, expanding on all the coverage you're seeing here on the channel, just in the form of journalism. There's been quite a bit happening over the last couple of days in regards to Modern Warfare 3, and I'm doing the best that I can to break everything down for you guys in separate videos, and of course, articles and tweets over with Detonated. But with that being said, it pains me to talk about the fact that David Vonderhaar, an absolute legend in the Call of Duty community, somebody who's been higher up over at Treyarch for well over a decade, has now left Activision completely. So as he went ahead and posted over on his Twitter today, after an incredible 18 years and 8 Call of Duty games, I am moving on to explore new opportunities. More here. So first off, the Call of Duties he worked on are as follows. We have Call of Duty 2, the big red one, Call of Duty 3, World at War, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, 3, 4, and of course Cold War. Here's a statement over on LinkedIn. Today I'm sharing that I have left Activision and Treyarch after an incredible 18 years and 8 Call of Duty titles. To my coworkers at Treyarch, I'm immensely grateful for the time that we invested working to improve our craft, never sitting on successes, and always wondering how to improve what we design and how we produce it. Thank you to the Call of Duty community for your passion and enthusiasm. The energy has often fueled our determination as a studio and individuals. I will always be grateful for the opportunity to interact with so many of you directly online and in person. This energy will always be a massive part of me. I am staying in the games industry, working on an undisclosed project that I can't discuss yet, but I'm excited about a rare and unique opportunity. I'll update you as soon as possible. Now, Treyarch's always been my favorite studio. I would hope to visit their brand new studio at some point one day, especially for the upcoming Black Ops 2024 title. But just to add something into this video, which is wholesome, a couple of years ago, I went ahead and tweeted at David Vonderhaar asking if the transit bus was ever planned to be added into Blackout, and the response that I got was perfect. I mean, there were so many things Blackout was probably going to receive, but it just didn't because of time constraints or something else. We also know that Buried was apparently Vonderhaar's favorite zombie map, which is obviously a top map of all time, but the entirety of Buried was featured inside of Blackout, which makes sense. And on top of that, once the rumors came around for Black Ops Cold War or COD 2020, I put a tweet out about it, in which Vonderhaar then retweeted the tweet before we ended up getting any official confirmation from Activision about what COD 2020 even was. He quickly unretweeted that about a couple of days after that, but I just thought it was crazy. I got to interact with Vonderhaar that way over on Twitter, and he essentially confirmed Black Ops Cold War prematurely when he maybe wasn't supposed to, but then again, the memories with Vonderhaar were absolutely fantastic. Yeah, it's sad to see him go. I mean, I know John Rafkes also left Treyarch not too long ago. He's the one that was like zombies during Cold War, and he's been the communications manager over at Treyarch for quite some time as well. It's also sad to see familiar faces just leave the studio. I mean, over the last couple of years, we've seen quite a few big heads leave Treyarch, and I think a lot of people out there often look at that as, oh, Black Ops is over, Treyarch is done, Call of Duty never be the same again, and that's the thing, right? The people that worked at these studios built up the memories that we've all had together over the last decade or so, but that doesn't mean that new memories can't be created with fresh blood and new faces over at these studios. Now, the first thing I'll talk about is that obviously I think one of the most iconic games Vonderhaar worked on is Black Ops 2 and certainly Black Ops 3, right? It's kind of right in the middle between those two. You could tell he was very passionate about both of those games. But what I want to remind you guys of is the rumors from the press that Black Ops 4 had lots and lots of development issues. And what I mean by that is that Vonderhaar had an idea, apparently, to do a hero type of shooter for Black Ops 4 multiplayer that was more in line with Overwatch. Apparently it didn't playtest very well behind the scenes, and it got scrapped and turned into the Black Ops 4 multiplayer that we have today. And to actually go into that a little bit further, I do feel like Black Ops 4 had several instances where modes were almost completely scrapped not that far away from the initial launch of that game. We're talking, you know, maybe 6 to 9 months. That's of course based on rumors from the press. Again, I'm not an insider or a leaker or a developer to actually tell you that for a fact, but that is what was said about Black Ops 4, so I feel like if anything, in terms of Call of Duty, he was trying to go farther than that and do something very different than what we're accustomed to. With Black Ops 4, it didn't work out, and then obviously you know that Black Ops 4 was apparently going to have multiple years of support, but it didn't because they had to be pulled from that project to work on COD 2020, which was originally Sledgehammer's title. So you look at all of that, and I'm not sure how Vonderhaar might have felt about Cold War. I think over the last couple of titles Treyarch has put out, Vonderhaar has been less and less in the spotlight. I mean, Vonderhaar played a huge role in revealing multiplayer for Cold War, but after that, didn't really say much, either on Twitter or in studio broadcast. He wasn't really present throughout the post-launch for Black Ops Cold War, and we know that he was working on Warzone for a little bit, which is awesome. You know, he had a part to play in really making sure Warzone stayed on top as the Battle Royale. Obviously, there's other good BRs out there, but in terms of Call of Duty's BR, Vonderhaar had a part to play in that. And fun fact for you guys, the original name for Blackout in BO4 was Warzone. And for whatever reason that got changed, but now we have an actual Warzone today that came out from Infinity Ward initially and is now being handled primarily by Raven. But the reason I even bring all that up is because since Vonderhaar didn't really seem like he had the biggest role to play in a game like, you know, Black Ops Cold War, I don't feel like Black Ops 2024 is going to be all that affected by his departure. I mean, it's certainly sad, and he probably would have had some great input for the game, but the thing is, we don't actually know when he left the studio. Did he just leave this week and put the announcement out, or did he leave several weeks or months ago and just now felt like it was appropriate to share this information on Twitter or LinkedIn? He might have already given really solid input for the next Black Ops game, to the point where once that game rolls around, yeah, there will be new people in charge, there'll be fresh blood running the studio, but the imprint that Vonderhaar could have left on the game will still have been left behind, because he did put in some work into the new Treyarch title. But the thing is too, I'll use Jason Blundell as an example, right? He was given more creative control, as it seems, with a game like Black Ops 4, right? He was originally just in charge of zombies for BO3, and then for Black Ops 4, he was a co-studio head, and I'm not saying that he couldn't have done a stellar job if he was maybe dealt better hands, but under that leadership, unfortunately, a Black Ops 4 campaign got scrapped, the multiplayer got reworked significantly, the zombies wasn't QA tested and release broken, so many things went wrong, and it's a shame that Blundell then left the studio. I think it was halfway into Black Ops 4's cycle. I mean, you'd rather have everybody leave on a high note and then move on to other ventures, instead of dealing with, again, a Blundell situation where everything that can go wrong went wrong. I mean, I'm hoping that Vonderhaar didn't feel like he failed us as a community, because he's a legend. He brought us so many good memories. I can never forget being 12 years old and people out there sending him literal threats on Twitter over nerfing the DSR-50 in Black Ops 2. That was insane. I mean, times were different back then, but Vonderhaar has been around for the longest time, and we're all just grateful for what he did for the Black Ops series. But I think, honestly, if he put in a lot of work into Black Ops Cold War, which I think he did maybe initially, right, prior to launch, he was the face of the multiplayer reveal, that's a high note to end on. Black Ops Cold War was a solid Call of Duty, as you've been seeing footage of here in the background. We got a nice nuke here on Jungle as a part of Year 2 for Cold War MP. Black Ops Cold War is a fantastic game. So, you know what? I think it was a solid send-off for Vonderhaar. I mean, I heard rumors not that long ago, it might have been a year or two ago, I forgot which insider reported this, but apparently Vonderhaar was trying to leave Treyarch right after Black Ops 4, and not to say that Black Ops 4 wasn't a good game. I actually really love Black Ops 4, it's probably on my top 5 for the Call of Duty series, but apparently he was trying to leave the studio at around that time, or maybe shortly after that game cycle, and they convinced him to stay, right? Who knows how they did that, but he stuck around for one more COD title, which is Cold War, and I'm sure since then, he's probably just been dabbling around in either Warzone or plans for Black Ops 2024, who actually knows? But either way, it seems like Vonderhaar was kind of checked out for quite a while, so that's why I'm like, you know what, it's not like he was the face of everything over at Treyarch, and all of a sudden it's just a big shocker that he's leaving. He's been slowly phasing out of the spotlight for a while, and that's probably his choice, right? He probably was checked out and is ready for new things. I mean, working on 8 COD titles over a course of almost 20 years, that's dedication right there, and that's a lot of love from Vonderhaar himself. So I'm going to end this video with saying that I'm really grateful for the memories that he brought us as a community, and with that, I'm still excited for what Treyarch has in store. Again, you guys might be wondering, oh, well, who else is going to leave the studio now? Is it going to cause a ripple effect where other OGs also leave? Again, I know Tony Flame left recently, which is sad. I know he went to work on, I think it was Deviation Games, but now that game fell apart, so who knows what he's going to be working on next. It's always sad to see some familiar faces leave Treyarch, but that doesn't mean the next Black Ops game can't be special. Sometimes, and I mean sometimes, because we've seen this before with Call of Duty, the shorter the dev cycle, and with the inclusion of newer faces, could mean for a more solid COD experience than if we had maybe all the same faces working on it over the course of 3-4 years. They might get too ambitious with the project. I mean, that's probably what happened with Black Ops 3's campaign and why it was so odd, and it's also likely why Black Ops 4 had its shortcomings initially, right? Maybe having too many cooks in the kitchen or too many familiar faces that are kind of checked out and trying to do different things that aren't really in line with OG COD, and then having too much time on their hands. Sometimes that could lead to projects that aren't the greatest, but Black Ops 2024 is having what looks like a solid 3-year development cycle, which I'm really excited about, right? let Treyarch have more time to cook, whether it's a good-ass campaign, a really replayable multiplayer, a really revitalized zombies. Give them more time, and if it means bringing in fresh faces who have newer ideas, let's do that to better the entire Call of Duty community. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on the sad news today that David Vonderhaar has left Treyarch and Activision? How do you think this affects Black Ops 2024? And what are your thoughts on everything else we discussed? Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.